Over 4 years in the making, Lands of Lore Guardians of Destiny is ready to be unleashed on the world. Let's go inside Westwood Studios to learn about the making of this epic role-playing game.
The way that Lands of Lore is going to deliver on the promise and make the customers and the fans of the category really, really excited, want to buy the product and play it again and again, is the fact that it's going to put them into situations they've never seen in this genre.
Well, one of the most exciting features of Lands of Lore is just simply the epic story that Luther travels through these wonderful realms. Each world, there's actually 20 worlds, and each of them have many levels, and each one is exciting and new and innovative.
Most theologians will agree that our world was created by some immortal beings, gods if you will. The question as to why they created our world has plagued mankind for our entire history. Lands of Lore, Guardian of Destiny finally answers that question. One particularly evil god was fed up with the rule of non-interference and decided to reach his hand down into the fish bowl and see if he could make this toy a little bit more exciting.
After the story of Guardians of Destiny began solidifying, the designers then started working with a team of artists to create a world of intense beauty and mystery. Elements of illustration, texturing, and animation were combined to weave together an atmosphere of ancient cities, lush jungles, and the creatures that would inhabit them.
Here I have Belial's head that I've been modeling and texturing. I'm able to model and push and pull points. I create a set of bones within his structure that will allow me to animate him.
This ancient evil god Belial started dispensing bits of ancient magic to the mortal race that he has chosen as his favorite. And this mortal race, the Dracoid, took these bits of ancient magic and used them to develop into a warlike society that laid waste to the neighboring continent as far as they could travel. The Council of Ancients got together. They're very dissatisfied with Belial, and they sentenced him to death. This other fellow that had come down and championed the Hugh lines, the Dwaracle was selected as the executioner. Belial, anticipating his own execution, arranged a magical mother beast which was to serve as a resurrective device so that as soon as he was executed, he would merely become resurrected again. And there our problem lay for centuries.
Creating the different races was not an easy task, but the creative design forces of Westwood, teamed with the makeup talents of Phil Shelbourne and his crew, made it possible to use actors to portray the game's different characters. One such actor was none other than Catwoman herself, Julie Newmar.
When we were going through the Academy Players Directory to find our leading lady for the Dawn role, I noticed Julie Newmar's picture in there, and I thought, oh my goodness, here we have a culture of cat people. So we got Julie in. And I think it was a challenge for her because she'd never experienced anything like game production. But she's such a pro, and she was so diligent about the whole thing. As soon as we sat down, Joe and I sat down and discussed the whole process of making games with her, and she was really interested, and she was just fantastic. Vincent Schiavelli came in, and he auditioned for one of the voice parts. And Vincent has a really great voice, but really the thing that sells Vincent is his look and his manner. He's got a very, very compelling, unusual look. The very last person that we auditioned was Paige Rowland. And Paige was just an outstanding actor. From the moment she walked on the stage, she had the presence, the compelling presence that you would want in a heroine, in a game heroine.
We had an incredibly talented group of performers who really adapted to the process very well, and I can't say enough about that. I mean, it's one thing to be in front of a motion picture camera and to be working on a very clear set with other performers and know where you are and who your character is dealing with. But to step out onto a green screen with no setting around you at all and then be expected to breathe life into this character, that's a pretty high demand, and we were very lucky to have the caliber of cast that could really adapt to that sort of challenge.
Westwood is using more and more live actors in their games, which is all made possible through the magic of chroma keying. The actors play out their roles in front of a large green screen, and their images are later dropped into a background designed by Westwood artists, which allows them to be put literally into any set that can be imagined.
In the game, players will play Luther. Luther is the son of Scotia, who was the evil sorceress of the Dark Army in Lands of Lore 1, the first game. Upon returning to Gladstone, he was immediately imprisoned for the crimes of his mother. He somehow manages to break out of the dungeon and escape into the world and seek not only the solution to his curse, but as we will find out, a solution to the larger problem of our ancient evil god Belial, whose resurrection is imminent.
Longtime gaming composer Frank Klepacki and New Age artist David Arkenstone have delivered a compelling and mystical soundtrack, which is also available separately on CD.
I've been working for Westwood for about 6 years now. I was starting out writing 8-bit Nintendo game music, and now it's progressed into more of like scoring a film. There's well over 2 CDs worth of just music, and the collaboration between myself and Dave Arkenstone was really nicely put together. I think the two styles lend themselves well to complementing each other.
Working from his home near Burbank, California, David Arkenstone communicated often with Frank during their collaboration.
We kind of each did certain sections of the game. It was easier to do that instead of, because we weren't in the same city at the same time, it would be more difficult to collaborate. I tried to interweave those pieces of music with the same kind of atmosphere, so there's some cohesion between them. Some of the races have their own themes, and they would inform me about what would be going on during the game, and then I would be able to use my imagination to create the piece of music.
Westwood's audio director, Paul Mudra, works with sound engineers to deliver realistic sounds and ambiance.
We break the sound into 3 different parts. There's the music, the sound effect work, and the dialogue work. It's a fantastic game. The colors are fantastic, and the motion and the puzzles are great. But once you add music to it, it really brings it to life.
The unique engine used to drive Guardians of Destiny is the product of the very innovative and cutting-edge programming team of Westwood.
What really makes Guardians so interesting is the amount of design input that went into the direction of the code movie. The designers spent a lot of time being able to directly have their ideas implemented into the game. I mean, so many games have come out where they had these grand ideas and these grand things they're trying to get across, but the engine doesn't support it. And of course, the opposite is true. Great engine, lots of fun, but boy, there's not a whole lot of design there. We tried to find that ground in the middle. That's what makes Guardians the best game in the world.
I programmed the core technologies, the building blocks of a monster, but as the designers, they're able to use these systems and sort of program the monster to use all these little bits and pieces that I was able to create for them.
The world is filled with a lot of diversity, and the characters that you will meet, some of them you'll love and you'll want to spend a lot of time talking to, and some you'll listen to 2 sentences and just want to whack their heads off immediately. And you can do that, which makes us feel pretty good.
Before Guardians of Destiny hits the shelves, however, it will have to complete the ultimate test. The Quality Assurance Department at Westwood will put the game through rigorous testing to make sure it is ready for the public.
Our Quality Assurance Department has between 50 and 20 full-time playtesters. Right now we have 50 different PC configurations in-house. That means that as we do our functionality testing in-house, we get a good degree of compatibility testing as well.
Lands of Lore is going to evolve the drama.
It's really exciting. More of like scoring a film.
Been one of our most challenging titles to date.
But once you add music to it, it really brings it to life.
We've created a lot of rich, fun characters.
That's what makes Guardians the best game in the world.